Welcome to this episode of Growth on Purpose with me, Claire Chandler. This episode is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and my company, Talent Boost. I help executives and business owners get their teams working together more effectively in less time with less cultural resistance so they can accelerate their business growth on purpose. I keep using the word accelerate, and it must be because I am a bit of a lead foot when I'm driving. If I'm not in the fast lane, if I am not getting to where I want to get to in a way that is unimpeded by traffic or by state troopers, I'm a happy camper. And when I think about it, in leadership and in just performance in general, we all have fast lanes and we all have lanes where we are required to slow down. In the work that I do, I refer to these and I understand these to be what we call filters, right? So let me explain. We all process information about the world around us through three primary filters. One is empathy. How deeply, how naturally, how intuitively do we read the room and understand the impact of a situation or a decision on other people? The second is practical thinking. How readily, how naturally, how easily, how intuitively do we see multiple solutions to any given problem? And the third is what's called systems judgment. How naturally, how readily, how intuitively, how innately do we see the bigger picture and how things all come together contextually? And we all process information through three of these filters, but we don't all process that equally well or at the same rate. And so for some of us, our fast lane is that empathy filter where we can just even without consciously thinking about it or slow down, read the room, read body language, understand how decisions or situations or projects or things you're going to roll out are going to land on other people. Now, conversely, we've all been there. You know, the person with a very low empathy filter is always that person who on a conference call or a video conference asks that inappropriate question. And all the rest of us are thinking, buddy, read the room. Like this was not the right time for you to ask that question. That's somebody whose empathy filter is perhaps clogged or is not a lane that comes naturally to them. With practical thinking, if you're a natural problem solver, you can very quickly see multiple solutions to a given problem. But if your filter around systems judgment is not super high, you may not select the right solution that's going to move you closer to fulfilling your strategy. Whereas somebody with a very high systems judgment filter or fast lane can quite readily see how things come together. And it's important to understand that because we all have at least one of those three filters as our fast lane, as the one that comes quite naturally to us. Some call that a genius zone, where if we are in a high velocity environment where a lot of information is coming at us from all directions, and we have to make very, very quick decisions, and we don't have that luxury of slowing down, the first place our mind is going to go is to our fast lane. We're either going to read the room very quickly, we're going to solve the problem, or we're going to understand how it fits into the bigger picture. And so here's the key to that. The more clearly you understand your fast lane, that's the first piece that's important, self-awareness. I've spoken about that in a previous episode. And the more frequently you operate within that mode, so if you're, an empath versus a practical thinker / problem solver versus a systems judgment, big picture thinker, the more you stay in your fast lane, the more productive you will be, the less you're going to have to slow down and consciously bring in information through those other filters. And the more you're going to feel energized and accomplished. So it's really important to understand all three of those filters, where your fast lane is, and equally important where it's not. Because if it's a filter that you don't give a lot of conscious thought to, the key is not to slow down more to process information through that filter. The key is to bring someone else into that decision or situation or problem solving who can operate in that fast lane while you can stay in yours. This is the beauty and the power of teams. It's the beauty and power of leadership. And it's the beauty and power of understanding all of those that you have assembled around you so that you can grow in ways where you don't have to take your foot off the gas. So thank you very much for watching today's episode of Growth on Purpose. I hope you gained at least one valuable tip you can apply to your business. This is just one small piece of my system that I take my clients through to help them build commitment, align their leaders, and accelerate their growth. If you'd like the full roadmap for Growth on Purpose, which walks you through all 9 steps of my system, just click the link in the description below and make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to this channel so you get daily updates.